Konnichiwa minasan, Anton in Japan here, welcome back to my channel. Today we're diving into the best ways to buy an Akiya in Japan in 2024, and I'll also share my full story of how I bought my $15,000 abandoned Japanese farmhouse in Chiba, because it's been sought after in the comments after the house tour. There was another developer who wanted to buy it, but I wrote the broker a pretty cheesy letter, but I'll read that letter to you as well. And I'll also give a lot of tips and tricks if you're thinking about buying an Akiya in Japan in 2024. Please stay tuned till the end, let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and also sign up for my free newsletter down here in the bio or at anton.jp.com. If you're thinking about buying a cheap house in Japan, this video is for you. So, what is an Akiya? Simply put, Akiya are abandoned or vacant homes across Japan. As Japan's population declines and people migrate to cities, these properties are left empty, sometimes for years. While they can be a fantastic opportunity, they come with their own set of challenges, like structural issues, legal complexities, and way more. Japan has almost 10 million abandoned homes, and in less than a decade, it's predicted that Japan will have more than 22 million abandoned homes. So, almost 10 million abandoned homes. The same amount of abandoned homes as there are people in my home country, Sweden. When you buy a house in Japan, you usually pay 3 or 3.3% in brokerage fee to the broker, and brokers, they run the market in Japan. The preference for new in Japan is remarkable, and no one really wants to live in old houses. To combat the issues with these abandoned homes, the Japanese government recently put in a new law in place. Real estate brokers, they can charge a higher sum to sell cheaper houses. If you think about it, if you sell a house for $1 million and you get 3%, or you sell a shitty house that no one wants for $100,000 or $10,000 or $5,000, you would much rather aim for the $1 million house, because you can pay your bills and you'll earn a lot more money. And you can eat good food. Starting July 1st, 2024, Japan has introduced new regulations to support the distribution of vacant houses and land. These changes significantly expand special provisions for brokerage fees, making it easier for real estate agents to manage and sell properties priced under 8 million yen. Now brokers can earn up to 330,000 yen in fees, doubling the previous cap. This move aims to revitalize the market for vacant properties, encouraging more agents to participate and helping reduce the number of abandoned houses across the country. So, this is a great initiative. The brokers can now earn more money by selling these cheap and rundown and neglected properties. And they actually feel an incentive of selling them to you. But you still need to do your own research, because these brokers, they sometimes don't want to dig and pull these houses up. If you walk into a brokerage, they will show you nice houses. Because a Japanese buyer and a foreign buyer who wants to buy Akiya are usually the opposite. My Japanese friends who buy and deal with Akiyas, they usually buy them for about $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 only, and they're bought up before reaching the market. There are many developers and brokerage dealing with these houses, and they're selling houses in bulk. And there's a famous saying, once the house reaches the market, it's already too late. Because the developers snatch these houses up before they reach the market. Or DIY wannabe guys like me sometimes. Like with my Chiba Farmhouse. But I'll get to that story in about a minute. So, if you've read my book, I talk about how to source Akiyas and houses in Japan. If you don't speak Japanese, it might be a little bit harder, but with Akiya, you don't really invest a lot of money, but you need to invest a lot of time. So, in my opinion, the 3 best ways to find Akiyas. Number 1, look online. Sumo, Atto Home, Lifeful Homes. For me, I usually do the map search, and then you put the price up to maybe up to 5 million yen, about $30,000, $40,000, and then you scroll around. Me personally, I love looking at old, beautiful houses and see opportunities. How can you fix this house? And I love looking at houses in real life too. So when there are some interesting objects coming out, I go and look at houses. I look at, I would say 10 houses a month here in the Tokyo area for me or for my friends, just because I like it. Number 2, brokers. And this is the best one, I think. For me, it's location first. If you like the location, I start looking around in that area. You start talking to people, to the local real estate people, to the local restaurant guys. And if you speak Japanese, that helps a lot. If you don't, I would recommend you to learn or have a friend of yours that can help you. You spend a lot of time in that area, you get to know the community, you get to know the locals, and you will more or less be handed a deal, especially in the Japanese countryside. These houses, they're not wanted. And you can be lucky sometimes and find something really beautiful. Especially if you mean well, if you want to do well for the community, if you want to do well for the area, people will support you. And in Japan, they have this ganbaru spirit. If you work hard, people see it, people appreciate it, opportunities will arise. Trust me on that one. Number 3, boots on the ground. You go around and you look for abandoned homes, and then you gotta go to the municipality, the home kyoku, to check out who the owner is, and then you gotta write a letter to them. I did that last week and I actually got an answer, but that's for a different story. And then a 4th one is the Akiya Banks. But the Akiya Banks, I don't really know anyone in my surrounding who's bought something from the Akiya Banks. It's a normal misconception that people are buying all the Akiyas from Akiya Banks, but me personally, I don't know anyone who's bought an Akiya through an Akiya Bank. For me, location is everything. And just because there's a cheap, beautiful house 5 hours away from Tokyo, I don't think I would want to buy it, really. If you live in New York and you see a really nice, beautiful house in Alaska, would you want to buy it? Maybe you don't want to live in Alaska. I would never relocate all over the world just because I saw an ad of a cheap house. I would first spend a lot of time in the area you want to buy into. How to make it easy for the seller and make a bargain. So the real trick with buying an Akiya is to make it easy for the seller. Since houses in Japan depreciate, it is a buyer beware situation, but if you make it easy for the seller, you can bargain a lot. And that means that you sometimes have to take on everything and you gotta clean out the entire house, like with my Chiba Farmhouse. So how did I buy my Chiba Farmhouse? It didn't go as smooth as you would think it would. So my Japanese friend Ito-san, he's an Akiya investor. He buys houses for $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. He also has his own chapter in my book, 3 Houses in Japan, on Amazon. I went with him to a contract signing and I got to know the broker, and I asked her if she had a cool vacation house with a pretty big piece of land, preferably close to the ocean. And she said, "No, I'm sorry, we don't have that. But I met someone just last week that we might buy their house and then you can buy it from us. But I don't think you want this house. It's too big and run down and the previous owner's things are left as is. But it is very big and it would be really good to have kind of a hotel there." And when she said that, I realized, okay, maybe it is a big house, but I would like to see the house with my own eyes before actually purchasing it. Most brokers in Japan, they're working for the 3.3% and all they want to do is sell. Especially this company, they want to sell in bulk, but that means that you can find a lot of horidashimono, a lot of bargains. A few weeks later, me and 2 other friends, we went to look at a few other houses there, and I called her up, the broker, and we went to look at the house. And the moment I drove inside those gates, those beautiful gates, I was met with this beautiful Japanese garden to the left and then the house. The weather was beautiful and I just knew the moment, this is my project. I had no idea what we're gonna do with it, but I knew that this has fantastic potential and we can make something really beautiful out of this house. So I called her up and said, okay, how much do you want for it? And she said 1 million yen, which is about $6,000. It's crazy, it's really crazy. But trash disposal will be incredibly expensive too. And she said, I'm really sorry, but there is someone else, a developer in the nearby area who is coming to take a look at it in 1 or 2 weeks. We sell about 50 houses to this guy a year, so he has the priority. And I didn't really feel good about that, but it's her job. She reached out to me 2 or 3 weeks later and said that this developer is going to buy it for about 2 million yen. About, what is that, $13,000, $14,000. I was on my way home with my Japanese Akiya investor friend, and he told me to write a really long and beautiful message to this broker, which I did. And let me read this message for you. San, アントンです。お世話様です。昨日はお電話でお話しさせていただきありがとうございました。お伝えさせていただきました通り、九十九里の物件はぜひとも240万円に購入したいと思っています。現在私の他にご購入を検討されている方がいることは重々承知していますが、私はあの物件を長く大事に活用し、大勢の人たちが笑顔で集まるような場所にしていますという情熱があります。私にはあの物件の隠れた魅力がよくわかりました。So it basically means that I will bring a lot of friends together and I will make this house beautiful again. And I promised her this, and I promised all of you that, and I will do it with a smile on my face and with a smile on all of my friends' faces. Because we will make this house incredibly beautiful again. So that was in October, and she promised me, she got back to me, okay, we'll sell it to you. We already told the other buyer that this is Anton's house. So it's yours. But I think it will take about 2 months more because there is 3 siblings owning the house together and one of them hasn't signed the papers just yet. But give us 2 months and you'll probably get it by December. So I waited and I waited and I waited for about half a year. We were in contact maybe once a month and she said that it was delayed. And this is a big company who buys thousands of houses a year. And they said that they've never had this process taken this long. But in April or May, finally, the last relative signed the papers. Since they're probably not getting any money, I think this developer probably got this house for free. That would be my guess. Because the previous owners, they didn't want to deal with all this stuff. They didn't want to clean it all out. And even for me, I think, honestly, I think that will take about $10,000 just to clean everything out. Yeah, I don't want to think about that. But anyway, 2.4 million yen. Since this is their business, they don't charge any kind of real estate fees at all. You just pay a flat fee for the house price and then you pay for a scrivener as well to handle the process. That cost me about 250,000 yen, so in total 2.65 million yen, which is in total, including all the fees, about $18,000. The taxes for the house is about 55,000 yen a year, which comes down to $400 a year in taxes for that huge piece of land. So my advice to you, if you're thinking about buying an Akiya, is that don't rush into it. Find a place. This is where I want my house to be. And then you take it from there. You talk to the locals, you spend a lot of time, and you have good intentions for the area and for the house. Buying a house from abroad, if you don't know Japan, if you don't know Japanese, I would much rather recommend you to come here and spend some time here, find your area, and then you take it from there. Japan is huge, and maybe Osaka fits you better than Tokyo. Maybe Aomori fits you better than Nagoya, who knows? But you find your place, a place you love, a place you like, and then I would take it from there. If you contribute to the community, like, opportunities will arise. And in my area, in Kujukuri, there's already, just a few weeks during the time I've been there, there's already someone who's offering me to buy their old Akiya that has been empty and abandoned for a long time. So who should buy an Akiya in Japan? I think the main reason for this Akiya craze is that real estate prices all over the world is just going nuts. And for $15,000 that I bought this farmhouse for, I couldn't even rent a nice place in Stockholm, where I'm from, for more than a few months. And buying, I would need to go like way up north in Sweden, and even there I probably couldn't buy anything. Almost 10 million houses, in 10 years there's gonna double, so don't rush into it. Buying an Akiya isn't for everyone. It's easy to buy one, but it might be a liability, and it's responsibility as well. If you don't understand Japan, if you don't understand Japanese, it might be hard, and you might as well rent the house or rent an apartment or stay in a hotel or a share house for a few weeks if you can't dedicate your time here. I've also sent letters, I've knocked doors, I've knocked neighbors' doors, I've done a lot of things, a lot of footwork into finding the houses that I really want and that I really need. I'm scrolling on Sumo almost every day looking for houses in different areas, just because I find it fascinating. I love houses, I love real estate, I love DIY, I love the idea of fixing something up that is like run down and neglected. Abandoned places are really fascinating, and if you can make them nice again, it's also really nice. Enjoy it, try to immerse yourself, be respectful, and a lot of opportunities will arise if you can invest a lot of time in Japan. This was how to buy an Akiya in Japan in 2024. And let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Please like and subscribe if you like this video, if you're thinking about buying or renovating an Akiya in Japan, and please sign up for my newsletter. I have some incredible news coming related to renovating, related to Akiyas in Japan. I'm sure you're gonna like it. See you very soon. Anton in Japan here.